buzz around the New York Jets trying to trade up and land Cam Ward in the 2025 NFL Draft is starting to heat up. In the latest CBS mock draft, they had the Jets trading up to pick number 1 to land the Miami quarterback. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome into today's edition of the Jets Report. Then on the second half of today's show, the latest rumors and what I'm be looking for at the NFL Scouting Combine for the New York Jets starting this week. But speaking about the Combine, we actually are going to be sending a crew over there from Chat Sports. So we will have live interviews with Darren Mougey, Aaron Glenn, the whole new Jets brass. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, lock us in. We will have you covered throughout this hectic week as a lot of news, a lot of rumors start coming out from the Combine this week in Indy. So hit that subscribe button and lock us in. So in this latest CBS mock draft, Mike Renner had the Jets trading up to pick number 1 to draft Miami quarterback Man Ward. And he said, compared to everybody else, they're in a bad spot to get a quarterback at number 7 if they don't make a big play. This is the class to do it where you'll have evaluations all over the map. If the Titans aren't in love and are shopping the pick, I would be the first to call if I'm the New York Jets, because if Cam Ward hits, you are a championship caliber football team very, very quickly. Now, I do want to talk about this for a second because I have mixed feelings about that last part. If Cam Ward hits, you are a championship caliber team very quickly. Now, I think the Jets, they have a lot of foundational pieces already in place. Like hopefully Olu Fashanu, you have your franchise left tackle. You have your franchise playmaker in Garrett Wilson. You got 2 really, really good young running backs in Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. But is that enough where, let's just say, for example, Cam Ward comes on the scene and he has a Jaden Daniels-esque rookie campaign? Are the Jets a championship caliber football team? I have mixed feelings about that because, yes, I do think the Jets, you have some good pieces in place, but is that enough to get the Jets competing for championships? I think they would at least be able to compete for a playoff spot if Cam Ward hits, but it depends also how successful they are, because you kind of have 3 tiers in my opinion, and maybe I should have put Jaden Daniels on top, but I think the best rookie year you ever had was Jaden Daniels, obviously this past season. Then the year before, you had C.J. Stroud, a very, very good rookie year. Still won a playoff game in year 1, and that's another example of a very successful rookie quarterback season. But also, you could have a year like Bo Nix. Just did enough to make the playoffs, got the most out of that Broncos roster, but it's not like Broncos fans are rolling into year 2 saying, oh, Bo Nix is about to have an MVP caliber year like these 2 teams are having heading into year 2. Like Texans fans before this year, they were thinking C.J. Stroud was a dark horse MVP candidate and had the Texans as a dark horse Super Bowl contender, and Jaden Daniels heading into next season, I mean, a lot of people will be picking the Commanders to come out of the NFC. And also this on the Jets trading up. Just a thought here. Would the new Jets brass sell the farm year 1 to land a quarterback? Because I think that would be incredibly, incredibly risky because, new GM Darren Mougey, are you going to give up, 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds, and a third to go land a quarterback? And let's just say that quarterback does not pan out, you will be fired immediately. And also, I think the biggest question here that we have to ask ourselves is, are the Jets ready for a rookie quarterback? Like, is this organization ready to bring in a Cam Ward, ready to bring in a Shedeur Sanders and get him the best support system around him? Because we have seen these quarterbacks get drafted high. I mean, take the last 2 quarterbacks drafted by the Jets. Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. Were the Jets ready for those quarterbacks to step into a good support system? Absolutely not. And those guys fizzled out. They weren't supported well. And we saw Sam Darnold go to another team like the Vikings last season and have a great year because Minnesota had a very, very good support system around him. And the Jets support system right now, I would say it's good, but by no means is it great. Like, yes, you do have Garrett Wilson. I think that is huge for any young rookie quarterback to have that weapon you can rely on. You would hopefully have a better run game next season with Tanner Eggstrand coming from the Lions. They had one of the best run games in the National Football League. Then you do have your franchise center, Joe Tippmann, Olu Fashanu. He looked good in very limited action this past season, but this is a good support system. This is not a great support system by any metrics or by any means. So I think the Jets, maybe if you go draft a guy like Tyler Warren at 7 or Tet McMillan, and then you go make some key pickups in free agency because you will have a lot to spend if you let go of a guy like Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard. You have some more money to spend. So you could probably make that good support system into a great support system. And then in the 2026 draft, that might be your time to strike while the iron is hot. But more on Cam Ward here. So he is a polarizing prospect because I think he's got one of the best arms we have seen coming out over the last couple of years. And that's why I've compared him to almost a poor man Caleb Williams, where, Caleb, one of the best prospects we have ever seen coming out. But in terms of the arm talent and the quick release, like Cam does have a lot of Caleb in him. Now, the big-time throw percentage, 5.7, turnover-worthy play percentage, 3.1, adjusted completion percentage, 76.3, and his ADOT was very, very high compared to the rest of the college football quarterbacks this past season at 9.8. But the one thing I do love about Cam Ward is he had to battle through adversity throughout his college football playing career. Now, he started at Incarnate Ward, transferred to Washington State, was great there, and then he had to, definitely up his play playing in the ACC at Miami. He was awesome, and he worked his tail off to become a first-round pick and possibly the number 1 overall pick in the draft, having 43 total touchdowns this past season. But again, it all comes down to what would it cost. Like, you would have to give up a haul because the Titans are going to want that top 10 pick. They'll want pick number 7. They'll want your second as well at pick number 42. So 2 premium picks in this year's draft. And then also you would have to attach next year's first. Like, let's just say you draft Cam Ward and you are still not a successful team next season. You're 4-13. We would all be sick to our stomachs knowing that possibly like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th pick in the draft is heading to Tennessee, and we are banking on Cam Ward being a surefire hit at the quarterback spot. And you also got to attach a 3rd as well. But I'll ask you guys this: if the Jets do trade up to pick number 1, because the reports we're hearing is that they will want to take Cam Ward. But let's just say your new GM Darren Mougey, who would you take at the number 1 pick? Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward? Drop their initials down below in the comments section. Now, you guys here, if you guys have been watching the show, you guys know I lean Shedeur Sanders over Cam Ward. But again, it is a very tough decision. Like, I'm not pounding the table for either of these guys. I just would rather go the safer route, and I think Shedeur is that. Now, arm talent, the nod goes to Cam Ward 100%. The ball just comes off his hand a whole lot faster than it does for Shedeur. But in terms of decision-making and accuracy, Shedeur has Cam beat by a landslide. But playmaking outside the pocket, I think Cam's got that. And leadership, I gave it to Cam, but again, that's a toss-up there. But the one thing I do love about Shedeur more than I like about Cam Ward is how good he is in the pocket. And, even though we saw a guy like Jalen Hurts win the Super Bowl this past season, I still think you need to be a pocket quarterback at your core if you want to be incredibly successful. And Shedeur, he has made that known since he has been a young kid that that's the style of quarterback he wants to be. He wants to be that Joe Burrow, Tom Brady-esque quarterback, and just throughout NFL history, those types of guys have been way more successful. But honestly, the biggest reason why I don't want to trade up for a quarterback is because of this guy. I cannot get enough of Tyler Warren. I think this guy is going to walk into the league and be a top 3, top 5 tight end from day one. This guy is an absolute stud. 6'6", 260 pounds, freak athlete, was awesome for the Nittany Lions during his senior year at Penn State. And if he is on the board at 7, that has to be the walk up to the stand pick. We're done. You let 20 seconds roll off the clock, and you go hand in that draft slip of Tyler Warren. And then again, like we were just saying, if you would get a guy like Warren, then next year is your chance to really go trade up for a quarterback because you would have an unreal group of weapons around whoever that may be. Warren, Wilson, 2 good running backs, hopefully Fashanu as your left tackle. I just think the Jets trading up for a quarterback this year might be 1 year too early, but next year, those rumors will definitely heat up if they don't do it this season. But let's talk about the Combine here for a little bit because Darren Mougey and Aaron Glenn are both supposed to talk this week in Indianapolis. And one thing I'm watching for is just a new culture. Like, how does Glenn and Mougey talk compared to, the old regime of Robert Saleh? That's one thing I cannot wait to just see how they're going to talk about the new culture, what types of players they want to bring in, and then also the Aaron Rodgers details because they're going to get questions. Hey, what was the final decision on why you decided to let Aaron Rodgers walk out the door? You will get more info on that. So I'm assuming we'll have a nugget on the Aaron Rodgers kind of departure from the New York Jets at some point throughout the week. And then also they're going to be asked about the new quarterback spot. That will probably be the number one question they get. Hey, what are your thoughts on Justin Fields? What are your thoughts on bringing a guy like Kirk Cousins, Jordan Travis? How much faith do you have in him? Do you think Tyrod Taylor could be QB1 next season? They'll be asked about all that, so we will get some good insight on maybe they won't leak the whole plan to obviously the national media here early, but we'll at least get some nuggets on what the Jets are trying to do. And then also Garrett Wilson, because we did hear a report during the season that Garrett Wilson would like to be traded if they keep Aaron Rodgers. So I'm assuming some guy will ask him, hey, now with Rodgers off this team, what's the latest with Garrett Wilson? I'm sure they'll clear up that situation. And then also I just want to hear their thoughts on the future plan. Like, I'm not saying you got to go big picture, like 4 to 5 years, but more specifically this year, what are you trying to get out of this season? What is your main goal this year besides just winning games? Is it evaluating some of your young players? Is it finding that franchise quarterback? Or is it just, frankly, we are trying to compete for the AFC East, championship this season? Like, what is their goal for this year, and also obviously, the years down the line? But those are the 5 things I'm looking out for during the scouting combine, and more specifically when Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey are talking to the media this week. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just hit me with the Go Jets down below in the comment section so I can know where all the real ones are at. And then also, friendly reminder, hit that subscribe button, lock us in. Don't miss a thing around your New York Jets. We'll see you guys next time. As always, Go Jets.